So this is my crappy old recliner that I bought at American Signature Home in the bargain section for 99 bucks. It didn't look like this at the time. It looked more like this color right here. And because it was 99 bucks, I bought it. Then after a couple years it did this. So I hate it. I'm gonna throw it out. But it does have built-in Bluetooth speakers, which are pretty decent quality. I'm not an audiophile, but you know, it sounds okay to me. So what I'm going to try to do is take the thing apart and salvage the speakers into a speaker cabinet. So let's see how that goes. Yeah, this is a little, I guess, a subwoofer thing that is on the right side of the chair as they're sitting in it. So I'm going to take these screws off and see if that frees it up. It looks like the right side speaker panel is this piece right here. Once those screws are off, this just comes right out. Let's see if we can gently separate this piece as well. And what do you know? Underneath here there are some additional screws. Let's take those off. So those come right off. This is actually a nice metal piece here. Set that aside. So let's take some time to get these cables freed up a bit here. You can see there's a zip tie, which I'm going to cut. And then I'm probably going to try to take this off. Maybe I won't have to. Maybe the zip tie will be enough. Let's give that a shot. So I cut this zip tie up here and this zip tie down here, and I discovered that this blue wire, which comes out of the subwoofer, goes over to the other speaker on the other side. So okay, so I've exposed the wires. They're kind of hanging loose. I'm not going to disconnect them because I'm still working on this subwoofer box here. So let's see if we can just get that out. I discovered that there's these two screws here, so let's take those off and see if that releases the subwoofer. And what do you know, this comes right out. After releasing those screws, so release that, and this just comes right out. Decent little subwoofer here. And it even has a detachable cable, so I can remove that and set it aside. Now we're going to try to apply the same technique to this smaller speaker up here on the right side as you sit in the chair. I expect I could take this off, and then there should be some screws underneath it, and I'll rip this panel off and hopefully I can get it to drop out. If I look underneath, you can see it's probably got some cheesy screws, wood screws, holding it in. So this is what I find underneath there. Maybe I'm going to get lucky and just by taking these off it'll fall out. The 4 screws here. Okay, after taking these out, you can see this is just it's basically screwed into the particle board thing here. So let's see if I could find out a graceful way to disconnect these cables. Maybe there's a adapter of some kind rather than having to cut them. And indeed, yes, there is. Thankfully, another one of these here. It just comes right off. So now we can lift this out. Now we're going to work on the other side here. It's a little simpler. Well, not really. There's the 2 components, the speaker, and then on the top you've got the Bluetooth control panel thing. So I expect this will be the same as the other side. Just take this off. There'll probably be some screws underneath and it'll come right out. Let's take a look. Yeah, it looks exactly the same. And you can kind of see in there the control panel. That seems like it's going to be pretty easy to get out too, although I may have to rip some more of the dreadful bonded leather off. Yes, and indeed when I take it off I see the exact same thing as on the other side. Let's hear it for symmetry. So let's take these off. This has a nice twisty tie on here that I can take off to get this out. After taking the screws, I can see it's the same as the other side. So we're just gonna, undo this twisty tie. And it has the same kind of very helpful clasp as the other side. Wonder if I can do this with one hand. Hey, what do you know? There you go, comes off. Now thankfully I've discovered that this control panel kind of just pops right off here. So all I had to do was reach my hand in here and kind of push it out. See, that comes like that there. So let's make sure it doesn't fall. Ah yes, and it has a very nice, looks like a multi-pin adapter thing. We're almost near the end here. That's looking pretty good. Look how great this is. This is really kind of nice. This just comes right off here. So after taking it all apart, all the pieces are out. I'm going to put it back together, just make sure it still functions as a Bluetooth speaker. So let's see how that works. Well, you can see that it still works. Nice as a Bluetooth speaker. Pretty good. Nice, I'm happy with that. Alright, so now the challenge is just to find an appropriate found object to serve as the cabinet.